So especially if you're making your money in certain ways, it is effectively the best tax haven you're going to get and still be able to be within these United States. It's the U.S. tax haven, right? So that's the best way to describe Puerto Rico. So off rip, to me, and I'm just like kind of giggling that Paul is doing this as a Puerto Rican citizen, right? Once again, it's like, look, you're allowed to do whatever you want to do. Tax minimization is legal. There's nothing wrong with that. But, people are going to ask questions when you show up with like a British Virgin Islands, citizenship, or you're residing in certain places. People are going to ask questions. That's all I'm saying. And sometimes those questions are fair questions, right? Sometimes they're fair questions, right? So he's living in Puerto Rico. Coffeezilla is in Texas. So that's the reason why this is a case brought in Texas, right? And I like this here. He says he is a investigative journalist and quote unquote internet detective, such passive aggressive beta quotations, who specializes in exposing scams and uncovering scams and fraudsters. Coffeezilla is a citizen and resident of state of Texas and resides in Bourne, Texas. And his company is a Texas corporation, which he owns, right? Obviously, the amount in controversy is over $75K, right? This is going to be a very large lawsuit. So this is a diversity suit brought under 28 USC 1332. So there's two types of federal lawsuits, and those are diversity and constitutional questions. This is not a constitutional question or a federal issue, a unique federal issue. This is a diversity case because there's different citizenship of the parties. So he's bringing this in federal court, probably hoping that federal court will be more advantageous than a Texas court. He was inspired by his love of Pokemon, a Japanese media franchise that included video games, trading cards, animated series, and films. I actually guys, I didn't read this part of the complaint. I just predicted it. Like I'm telling you. I mean, it's obvious that he was trying to be Pokemon, right? I haven't heard him talk about this, whatever, but it was obvious, right? Very obvious that he was coming for Pokemon. In CryptoZoo game, as Paul imagined, players could acquire egg NFTs that would hatch a base animal, or players with multiple base animals in their collection. And they could then breed these animals to create hybrid animal NFTs within the game's virtual ecosystem. Understand that he did not possess technical expertise, relevant experience, or time. So essentially, he had nothing but money. So he's like, I just have money to pay for this. All right. Paul and his management team worked to assemble a team of experts in the digital asset market game development to bring the concept to life. So they identified Jake Greenbaum and Eddie Abinez as qualified candidates. Well, oftentimes the people that are the first to run out there to offer to help you are the least qualified. This is something I have learned in the social media world. A lot of times the people that are out there saying like, oh yeah, I'm the expert, hire me. Those people are the least qualified to actually end up helping you. Greenbaum and Abinez recommend creating and incorporating a token into the game. So they're the ones that brought up the idea, hey, let's tokenize this, right? Hey, let's make this into a game. Let's make this into an ecosystem, right? Let's make some money on it that way. Because you could make just a straight up game without a crypto. And by the way, I would highly suggest you make the game concept work before you push the idea of the token. If your primary concept is the game and a token is secondary, that's fine. But if your primary focus should be on the game itself, not, hey, let's make some money off of that. And that should have been his first red flag, was the idea of these guys coming in and saying, yeah, let's tokenize this. The purpose of CryptoZoo was for use in CryptoZoo ecosystem, where people would spend tokens in a virtual marketplace and a variety of in-game features and enhancements. So on its face, there's nothing illegal about that, right? The problem is these people were con artists, right? Both Ibanez and Greenbaum. Paul focused on creating rules for the game, assigning names and rarities to animals, and providing high-level input on in-game features, design, and functionality. To that end, he paid 10 artists and animators to create the artwork and animation. Signaling his devotion to the game, Paul incurred $220,000 in out-of-pocket expenses, most of which went to paying artists. Ibanez, who represented himself as independently wealthy through his successful data analytics, told Paul he would personally go out of pocket for development costs. So these people are falsely representing themselves. Unbeknownst to Paul, they're both con artists. Both men lied about their resumes, knowledge, experience, and intentions. They sabotaged the project from within and prevented him from reaching the vision. So they both rugged the token. They lied to him about the progress, right? And Paul eventually had to write the co-founders saying the problem is we are understaffed, under-equipped, under-experienced, and a bit off more than we can chew, and none of it was relayed to me. So he admitted that there were steps, right? Now he's saying it wasn't relayed to him, but that doesn't remove your responsibility. To me, if you're a CEO, right? If you're a CEO of a company, you're responsible for your far from profiting, Paul lost. So we know Paul lost money. Coffeezilla builds a profitable personal brand as an expert on ferreting out supposed scams. Coffeezilla grew up in Texas and attended Texas A&M. Kind of based. My aunt teaches at Texas A&M, so kind of based. He majored in chemical engineering. Dude, that's actually pretty cool. One of my best friends majored in chemical engineering. He clearly is smart. After college, he worked as a salesperson for a home builder, and he joined YouTube. He posted a channel, Coffee Break, did not focus on any particular topic, and was more in the vein of video essays than an effort at investigative journalism. So that's how people's channels change, right? They change. On one video, for example, aimed at criticizing the use of corporate jargon in office spaces, while another from the same time frame asks, is exercising worth your time? Coffeezilla first adopted the Coffeezilla personality, creating his YouTube channel under that name in August of 2018. His early videos on the channel consist of interviews on various topics and video essays like how to live in an age of distraction. Well, once again, beginning in 2019, though, he began to produce a series of videos on fake gurus, in which obviously he was getting more traction. He then began his current recognizable Coffeezilla style, featuring him talking to a microphone with what became his signature white dress shirt and suspenders, right? So that very much looks like the old gumshoe and reporter, right? Very classic look. He began to focus on many videos on cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Tether, and Doge. He found himself credited for focus on cryptos and scams related to that, such as the Save the Kids token. So he got big off of crypto. Cool. And got big off of covering a lot of crypto. He then covered Logan Paul's new crypto coin as an embarrassment. So this is where they got into it, right? Which is the meme coin called Dink Doink. In this video, Coffeezilla falsely accused Paul of participating in what he characterized as a Ponzi scheme. Well, here's the problem, guys, is that now Logan Paul in this lawsuit has to go out and defend all of these tokens. He's got to say, oh yeah, no, these were not Ponzi schemes. He's got to go out there and say, oh yeah, he was wrong about all these things. He's got to go out and defend CryptoZoo, right? And that is material to this lawsuit, and that's one of the biggest deficits, is that Paul is making these accusations, and it's turning out that a lot of these things were indeed scams, right? See, if Paul is focusing and saying that, look, Paul's trading activity on the token was limited. Well, that doesn't matter. If the video is about the coin being a shit coin, if the video is about the coin being a scam, then it is still true whether or not Logan Paul had $5 or whether he had $1 million. And what he's salty about, see, this is what it is. He's salty that the Dink Doink video received 800,000 views, almost 1 million views. Well, I'm sorry, Logan. If you're just jealous of views, then get good, scrub, and make good videos, right? If that's what you're salty about. I just don't, this is not something that is a legal fact that's going to lead to defamation. The fact that his video had so many views. So the information of Paul was of great interest to his audience and had the potential to further increase his profile and make him significant income. Speaking of Coffeezilla, right? YouTube's compensation policies for creators are complex and actual earnings can vary. Yes, this is true. This part is true, right? It's hard to figure out what people are making on any given video, right? But on average, creators can average about 0.018 per video view. That's rough, right? Depending on the niche. And it might even be high, which can translate to tens of thousands of dollars per video once a creator gets millions of views. Yes, if you have 1 million views, then it can be tens of thousands of dollars. That is true. By May 2022, Finstein told the New Yorker that he was no longer selling houses and that creating YouTube content was his full-time job. Well, that's fine because you're focusing on that. That's cool. Going forward, his videos focused almost exclusively on cryptocurrency and supposed scams involving crypto. Well, that's good. He developed a niche. This is smart. So, like, literally, he's trying to shit on Coffeezilla for doing what you do to become good at YouTube.